Hi. Welcome to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Mayer, and this show's for you if you're done with cookie cutter marketing and ready to build your personal brand in alignment with who you really are. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I have got a episode I suspect is going to be one of your favorites. Today, I'm going to be talking about the profile lines and their relevance in marketing, and in particular, taking you through my profile line pair archetypes. Now, I haven't done a conversation about the profile lines for a while now. It's definitely time for this to be shared. And strap in, this is going to be a juicy episode. You're going to get a lot of insight and some actions to take away. Now, because you're one of 12 profile pairs, you're going to learn a lot about the other profile pairs as well. And there's going to be one section that you're like, oh my God, it's me. And you're highly likely to see yourself in this as well. Now, to step back and talk about the profile lines, if you've been to one of my trainings in the past, you will know that I believe that this part of our chart is the most marketing savvy. No, is the word savvy. It's the most relevant to our marketing marketing is what I would say. And this is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it gives us a lot of guidance around the ease of how we approach others in the world, what they perceive of us, and in turn, how they receive our energy. Ra Uruhu called the profile lines the costume of our purpose. So it's how we bring our purpose through to the world, but not necessarily how we see ourselves. It's what we're wrapped in, what others can see. You know, I was listening to an amazing podcast episode this morning, which was, I'm going to leave you with this link in the podcast show notes, actually. It is a new podcast. I think it's called Unblocked. And my long-term client, Trisha, was being interviewed on this podcast by someone she's done some work with around unblocking her shadows. And this woman's name is Alyssa. It was a fantastic listen. But one of the things that she said that I'm like, I haven't heard that, which I know you're going to find incredibly powerful as well, is that by nature, we are not able to see what it says on the jar. Let me unpack that a little bit more. So we live inside of our meat suit, our humanness, and we don't have a great understanding of what is inside of us that others can easily read on the outside. Okay. So don't you love this way of thinking? It's like we are not able to see what's on the jar of ourselves. So true for how Ra has taught about the profile lines. But with human design, we do get to understand a bit more about what is on the outside of the jar, and that's where the profile lines come in. So the thing that they set us up to do is to be more influential in the way that we communicate and deliver our energy to the world. That's why I have a masterclass called Influence Activation, which is all about the profile lines to show you how this can work for you in your marketing. So instead of doing the lines 1 through 6 on this episode, which I've done before, I'm going to take you through the 12 marketing archetypes that I developed that can serve as a bit of inspiration and guidance for you when you get to yours. Now, what I would suggest you do with this is listen and integrate what you're hearing, but also the next step is to go to your favorite AI tool and actually ask it that to help you understand that given you are X profile lines in human design and a marketing archetype, insert the marketing archetype that I share with you. What does that mean for your marketing? I want you to ask it, what does it mean for the way that I share my marketing communications, the platforms that I use, and the tactics that I use. You are going to have a lot of fun with this, my friend. That's the intro. Now let's dive in. The first profile pair that I am sharing is the 1-3 profile. Now, I'll be honest and say that I actually have a bit of envy for the 1-3 profile when it comes to marketing. I call this profile the Explorer. It has a very curious, got to get to the bottom of it kind of flavor to it. So the 1 is all about deep diving, research, more information, not feeling safe unless they know enough. The 3 is let's just get out there and live and fall over and get back up again. When you bring them together, you're able to be both sharing from a deep wisdom perspective, from all of the deep diving of the 1 and from lived experience. This makes you so incredibly authoritative because you have learnt and you have lived. It's the double whammy. And the explorer, like you have this curious, adventurous, not just archetype, but personality. So you're into everything. You're like going down rabbit holes and you're out in the world trying things on. It's infectious. You are an amazing, amazing energy to be around. And this is something you definitely want to take advantage of in the way that you express yourself in your marketing. That's the explorer. Number 2 is the 1-4 profile. These are in no particular order, by the way, although I've kind of gone from the lower numbers up. So the 1-4 is the empathist. Here's why. This combination of profile lines makes you incredibly empathetic. The 1, as a prominent line 1, you're going to be somebody who thinks they never know enough and who's always trying to prove that they know enough and doing more and learning more and taking the courses and repeat. And you have this quite vulnerable side to you because of that. And then with the 4, you are very friendly, very warm, and incredibly in tune with others. So when you bring them together, you are somebody that people want to be around because you're relatable. You're incredibly relatable as a 1-4. So share this in the way that you express yourself. Share if you struggle with never knowing enough. Share the mistakes you make along the way that will help others, because this 4 in you is very driven to help others with what you have experienced and learned along the way. So that's what I would suggest to you as a 1-4 profile, the empathist. Now, I will say this before I move on. The line 4 is a bit gun shy when it comes to social media. So you may have to work a bit harder and lean into sharing with more authority from your line 1 to feel comfortable. And you are blessed that the 1 is your prominent line. You're conscious of this, and you're probably going to experience that your 1 goes out there, learns all the things, and is happy to communicate, whereas your 4 is more keen to tell people one-on-one than to get onto a social platform and do that. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the 2-5 profile. This one I have named the archetype of the virtuoso. Here's why. As a line 2, you have natural gifts, talents, and skills that you don't necessarily see yourself. They're inside the jar, right? And so you master a lot of things when you're in your natural element. And then your 5 is actually pulling you out to share those things on the stage. So think of a virtuoso. Yes, it's a musical term, but it's someone who maybe has a little bit of a introverted personality, maybe, but once they get out on the stage and they share their gifts, they are purely magnetic and so incredibly attractive to others. And you're going to find this is actually a double projection line, the line 2 and the line 5. By the way, if you have a 2 or a 5 in your profile, you have people projecting on to you. That they're observing you and thinking, I want more of what she has or he has. And the 2-5 and the 5-2 have got this double. So people are going to assume that you're so gifted and so talented and you should be on the stage, even when you don't assume that for yourself. So as a marketer, this archetype is all about allowing yourself to be in your cave and really in your gifts, and then really come out and get onto the stage at the appropriate times when your energy is aligned to do that, and trust that people are going to listen to you. Okay, next up we have the 2-4 profile, which I have coined the archetype of the Ingenue. So we're starting with the 2 again. So this is the it's known as the hermit. This is somebody that is not going to want to be out the front of their business all the time, that definitely needs to step away, to be in their gifts, to be self-nurturing and nurturing those around them. And then the 4 brings in this element of so that I can be in service of others, so that I can be loving and friendly and warm. Okay, so it's this desire to look after self, to be in service of others. And what you will find in life is that even though you don't always want to be out the front, others love you and want to be around your energy so much that they will literally pull you out. They'll ask you to do things with them. They'll want to hear your advice. And you know that the 4 line definitely comes with a lot of influence, in that you have a lot of things that you love that you want to help other people by sharing. So that pops up for you as well. This is probably the hardest social media or front personal branding profile pair, because you're dealing with the 2 where you're like, let me off the platform, and the 4, which is actually better from a one-on-one perspective. And so you really want to be focusing on building one-on-one relationships and referral marketing and affiliate marketing. That's going to work really well for you. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to our 3-6 profile. Okay, this one is the exemplar. That is because you have the 3, which is living by example, like making mistakes and then sharing that in a really relatable and authentic way. And then as you mature, you also step into your role model. And so you are really leading others, even if you don't know this, through not just having the experiences, but gaining so much wisdom in the process. And then over the course of your life, you are going to be seen as somebody who sets an example of what is possible. That's through your living and not being afraid, and your curiosity and your adventurous side, as well as this more, not that it's introspective, but it is a very like deep thinking energy of the role model and your ability to see what is truly important. So this archetype is about appreciating and recognizing that you are the exemplar, that you are here to set an example, and owning that in the way that you express yourself. Again, go onto ChatGPT, plug this in, and you're going to get more richness about. But how? Okay, you're going to get some really fun things to try out. Okay, next up we have the 3-5 profile pair, which I term the pioneer. I know so many powerful 3-5s. Emma Dunwoody, my human design mentor, is a 3-5. She's the perfect expression of this. So as a 3, and actually all the profiles I've shared so far, anything that starts with a 1, 2, or a 3, you actually need to go through your own process of learning about who you are through trial and error, through making mistakes, to feel embodied in your wisdom and ready to share with others. And then when you add the 5 with the 3, it's being out there, leading the way, helping others with what you've learnt. And so this brings this very much, I'm going to go out there and have adventures. I'm going to experience life to the full, or business to the full, or whatever that looks like for you. And then I am going to have had that experience and then use it to help others. Okay, so you're not just out there. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm like pretending to be an explorer in a way, or a pioneer at least. You're not just out there doing the thing, you're also seen as a leader and somebody that is providing direction for others because of your line 5. And this is definitely energy that you want to bring forward into your marketing, this leading the way, but through a very relatable, making mistakes and sharing what you've learnt approach. So you are more vulnerable in a way, but you come at it from a place of, I've already done this. I've already learned the lesson. So you don't have to. This is how things will work for you. Then you go into that solution mode. All right. Next, we have the 4-1. The 4-1 is an interesting one when I say the name of the archetype, which is the influencer. But watch out here. This is not about a social media influencer. This is about somebody who is incredibly influential with their circle. Somebody that is always out there. The word experimentation brings me to the 3, but it's also the line 1. You're out there learning all the things. And then you're like, this is what I've learned. Oh my God, you need to work with this person. You need to follow me into this direction. This is going to be so powerful and life-changing for you. And you are very influential in this because you're well-researched. You've done your homework. You're very passionate and friendly when it comes to, you want everybody to have the success that you've enjoyed or the transformation that you've experienced. You want that for all your loved ones and friends and the world at large. And so you're highly, highly influential. Okay. So trust that you are here to influence others to do the things that you think will help them. However, the 4 is the least social media savvy line. Like, it's the line that wants to do this sitting around a woman's circle or in collaboration with somebody else. So remember this about yourself, that you are looking to build relationships. You're all about communications with community and fostering relationships and being influential from the bottom up. So you're building from one-on-one out towards bigger audiences, maybe in partnership with others, potentially through affiliates and referrals, things like that. All right, that is our amazing 4-1 profile, the influencer. Next, we have the 4-6 profile, which I call the catalyst. So a bit of a build on the 4-1 in that, again, similar energies, prominent 4, conscious line 4. So you're really keen to share the things that you have moved through yourself to help others. So you're going to have that influential style of energy. But here's the difference. With your line 6, you have this depth of wisdom. So you deliver it from a place of a wise sage, and it comes through as more of a, I'm going to move you into action. You are the catalyst for change because you're bringing that, I see the bigger picture. I can genuinely see what's going on here, and the best way for you to move forward, this is how you're going to do it. And you deliver that with like a lot of enthusiasm, relatability, but also with this, I am a respected kind of human. I have been there. I've done it. I've been on the roof. I've processed everything. I really come from a place of wanting the best for you and others. And that is influential, that word, influential in moving others to take action. So again, from a social media perspective, you might pull away at times because you're more about connecting with others one-on-one. And I would encourage you, anyone with a line 4, it's really important for you to lean into this side of you that wants to be in person and to use social media to be social, to like encourage other people in the comments or respond to people's stories, to really get to know people in the DMs. Like, this is important, important, important for anyone with a line 4, but particularly for the 4-1 and the 4-6 with this as your conscious line. Remember that you are here to build relationships. And then with your wisdom as the catalyst, it's like building the relationship and moving others into action. And you can do that in your content, and you can do that directly. All right, next up we have the 5-1. This is my profile pair, and I had a lot of fun naming this profile pair the Queen. I say this as I sit in my peacock chair, which looks a lot like a throne. The Queen energy. Okay, I kind of love this about my design. Like, that's my favorite thing, being the 5-1. And here's why. I resonate so strongly with being all about helping others. Like that's the first thing that I want to do is like spot where there's problems and find solutions and help you with them, AKA this podcast and the work that I do in the world today. But I also am like a detective. Like I have to get to the bottom of things. And if I don't do that, I don't feel the level of conviction and confidence in what I express that I need to be my very authoritative, powerful, and magnetic self. This is you too. You are authoritative, powerful, magnetic when you're in your queen energy. You are somebody who prefers to be on the stage or on the video or teaching a class than in the DMs. Like, this is not my favorite thing, people. I may lean into the DMs when you're a client, but I am unlikely, i.e., very unlikely, to initiate a conversation with you on social media as someone that's cold to me. Highly unlikely. In fact, even when it's like the recommended strategy, for instance, with my ads, that anyone who buys from me, I should be jumping into the DM and having a conversation. I'm just like, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here to make amazing content and deliver that. And whether that's on video or long form content, which works really well with the line 1 energy, that's how I'm going to do that as a 5-1 queen. And so are you. Next up, we have the other double projection, which is the 5-2. So the 5-2 again has this very strong drive to be out the front, to be helping, and we tend to people please a bit because we're like, we can help, we can do this with this line 5 prominently. But a bit different with the 5-2, it's got a more nurturing style of energy. I call this profile the Matriarch. Like you are a bit more mysterious and a bit more nurturing in your energy. You're going to be both out the front trying your best to help, but also needing time away to be in your gifts, to be in your self-nurture and the nurture of others. So it's really important for you as a communicator to allow yourself to have the space to be in your line 2 and to really show up in your full magnetism of the 5 when you're feeling that energetically. So there's a bit of a dance that goes on with the 5-2. You're also, with that double projection line, people are going to expect a lot from you. They're going to have opinions about you, and some of them won't be true. So be real, share your truth, and do it from a place of, I am here to be of service, but I also need to be of service to myself. I need to nurture self, and that's part of your brand, okay? The 6-2, we get to the 6s now. We've got the 6-2 and the 6-3. So this is the prominent role model energy. When you have a line 6, you are definitely here to express wisdom, to be a trusted advisor because you have been on the journey, especially if you get to over 50, where you've learnt so much from your own life and from others that you have a very wise and highly respected energy about you. It is luminous, like others want to be around you. And with your 2, you have that nurture to you as well. And so that can make you a little bit like you might pull away at times because you need to be in that energy, and then others are going to be pulling you out. That's the projection of the 2, like, come on out. We need you. We need you. We want to hear more from you. Be out the front, be our role model. So know this about yourself, that you to others are luminous, you're glorious, you're golden. And it's important for us that you find those moments to be there as a guide to really help us by sharing your wisdom. But we also need you to respect and nurture yourself so that you can show up and be that luminary being that you really are. So things like being a guest on podcasts, in other people's programs are perfect for you, but also you want to make sure that you have a schedule that allows you both the downtime and the kind of out the front guidance. Actually, it's a big teacher energy, the 6 as well. So educating and teaching others is part of what you're here to do as well. And then our last one, another double like power packed one, is the 6-3. So as a 6-3, you literally lived the first half of your life as a 3 on steroids because you're like the 6 spends their first half of their life, or the first 30 years at least, in their 3 energy. So you kind of don't get into your 6 until you're well and truly over 40, if not over 50. But what you are doing through this process is you're building more and more wisdom. You're very it's not that you're introspective, it's more that you're observant, that you are learning from doing, learning from contemplation, learning from sitting back and looking at the bigger picture. So in this process, you become a deep, wise, perceptive, potent leader. That's what makes you the maven. Like you are out there. And in fact, this is one of the most powerful profiles that there is, because for others, they see that you lead the way, particularly once you get over 50. So again, with the 6, you're a guide, you're a teacher, you're here to share your wisdom, you're here to educate. And with the 6-3, you're going to do this through sharing your own war stories, the mistakes you've made, in service of bringing through the lessons to make things actionable for others. So that's a really big clue on how you communicate. So that brings us to the end of the 12 profile pairs. I really think that I got them all in. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this episode and make sure. Or I get my trusty assistant to do that for me. But I hope you've enjoyed this one. Reminder, next step is to go onto your favorite AI platform and have some fun with this archetype. Use it to inspire you. If you want to go further, I teach this in a lot more depth in the Frequency Project, which is open for enrollment now. So we'll leave a link in the show notes for the Frequency Project. This is my signature 12-week supported course and program where we have monthly Q&A calls. We have the most epic women on the inside. It just fills my heart so much, the community that has been built in this program. You get lifetime access, and I am always adding more and more and more to it because I'm so proud of it. And I believe in this transformational work. And the more I learn, the more I give to this program. So go and check that out. And I can't wait to be back in your ears sometime soon. There are heaps more resources in the show notes. I can't wait to be back in your ears again soon. Bye for now.